Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Swiss Oath of the Gatewatch Battle for Zendikar draft. Kind of a weakish pack in general. I'm kind of tempted to take the Stoneforge Masterwork because I think it's a good card if you can either make a really consistent ally deck or an Eldrazi deck. Both of those decks tend to work fine. I'm really giving up on basically a Roiling Waters, which I do think is a good card, but I'd rather just take a colorless card. Although, to be honest, they both kind of limit what kind of deck you can play. You can't jam Stoneforge Masterwork in any deck. We have a decent chance to wield the Weapons Trainer. I mean, people don't always go... Actually, we probably don't wield the Weapons Trainer only because this pack's not that deep. But I'm fine just taking the colorless rare. I'm giving up on a Roiling Waters pretty much as the only other first pick worth anything. And I'm fine just taking a colorless card that works for a couple archetypes. Like, following it up with an Allied Reinforcements is pretty nice. I think Nissa's Judgment's probably a better card than Allied Reinforcements. But then again, there's an Oblivion Strike in here, which is probably better than both. So, I mean, I've kind of figured out why Black-White just seems to be something I end up drafting all the time. The removal spells are common, Isolation Zone and Oblivion Strike, and it seems like you're likely to see them at least in the first few packs, so I think that's just why it's so easy to end up in those colors. Like, there's really just no reason to pass an Oblivion Strike here, right? I mean, it's great removal. It's better than Nissa's Judgment. It's better than Allied Reinforcements, I think. Even though Allied Reinforcements is a nice follow-up pick to Stoneforge Masterwork. Ooh, Matter Reshaper. Isn't that worth stuff? Is it still? I think just because this is a... probably because this is a Swiss draft, I'm going to take it anyway. Yeah, it's only worth like a ticket. Otherwise, I take Weapons Trainer, which works well with the Stoneforge Masterwork. I probably just want the ticket. And Matter Shaper is just straight up a good card. Kind of fits in with the Oblivion Strike. You usually end up in some sort of Devoid deck with Oblivion Strike. Like blue-black is a good direction to go. Matter Reshaper is just good. Like I said, it's a good card. I'll take it. Makes me want to go deeper down the Eldrazi rabbit hole. I don't think Hissing Quagmire is worth anything, but I'm not opposed to doing some value drafting and still kind of actively not trying to draft Black-White, even though, like I said, it's so easy to slip into that path. All right, Hissing Quagmire is worth a ticket. I kind of want to just take it for that. Otherwise, it might just be like an easy Envoy, which works well with the Stoneforge Masterwork. But I'm fine taking the ticket, maybe ending up splashing green, or straight up going black-green. Like, black-green actually seems good with Eldrazi. You end up with all the token producers in a Stoneforge Masterwork. That could be a spicy little deck. Let's take the Quagmire, though. Let's get a ticket here. Okay, Slaughter Drone. Still good for that deck. Probably the best card remaining here. Maybe Free Runner's better. Or Maw. Pathfinder's whatever. I'll probably just take the Slaughter Drone. I think it's good. I like it. It's also Eldrazi. Okay. Could take the Negator. Yet another Eldrazi. So is Maw of Kozilek, though. Could take the Lead by Example. I guess make it more likely we end up playing the Hissing Quagmire, which is not an Eldrazi, as it turns out. An Elemental. I don't mind taking Lead by Example. Both Gravity Negator... Maw of Kozilek actually is pretty legit, if you can make it work. You know, I feel like Lead by Example is better now than it was kind of considered originally, but I've still, like, never really played it. I'm going to take it. I kind of want to... I know I'm kind of like... Well, kind of rewarded here now with a late Saddleback Lagak, which I like more than the Shrieker and the Sky Scourer. Even though Sky Scourer is probably... Actually, Sky Scourer is looking good in this deck, considering it's an Eldrazi that is, you know, works with every spell in our deck other than the lead by example. But Saddleback's got to be a better card in a vacuum. It's just more in line, I think, with what I want to do. Plus, it's like well, it's not late. It doesn't work with the Stoneforge Masterwork, but it also just permanently pumps, so it probably doesn't matter. Okay, Unnatural Endurance versus Pulse of Marasa. There's also Cultivator Drone, which is a good card. Zada's Commando, which is a good card. I probably won't need an Endurance. It's fine, though. Commando's probably the best card remaining in this pack. Guess we'll take it. Just in case. Got an Endurance anyway. Probably like that more than Pulse. A Wield, Unity of Purpose, which I think is actually pretty good too. But we'll take the Endurance this time. Alright, got a Sky Scour. It's a pretty nice gift actually for this deck still. I actually like it with support. Like I said, it's going to be good with Stoneforge Masterwork. Seems good for us. Alright, some late, pretty powerful blue cards. Grip is better than Sweep Away, I think. Just the cantrip aspect alone. Another Unnatural Endurance. Well, I'm glad I took that Commando, even if we don't end up playing it. Warping Whale, I don't think it's that good of a card anyway. I'm probably more likely to play multiple Unnatural Endurance. I think we'll let someone have Gift of Tusks. Not likely to play that. Not likely to play the Strider Harness either, to be perfectly honest. So I feel like I'm pretty much committed to black only at this point. All right. Guess we end up with a mountain. Eiley. Always try and get away from the stupid black-white, and then it pulls me back in. Yeah, Eiley's pretty good. I think we can get away with taking something else, though. Like a Scion Summoner, maybe. Which is going to work really well with the Stoneforge Masterwork. Fits in with what we're trying to do. I kind of want to make a little theme deck here. Eiley's a good card. Legitimately. Very good. But let's go for the Eldrazi synergies. I don't even mind that I have a Saddleback Lagak. I still think that works well with the Summoner. And the thing is, Summoner probably could wheel fairly likely, too. But I want to make a green-black deck. I feel like I never make it. And Summoner is just very good for this deck, even though we have a high chance of wheeling it. Captain's Claws, that's cool. Probably more likely want a second Sky Scour. I think we could wheel the Sky. We're more likely to wheel the Sky Scour than the Shrieker, so I kind of want to take the Shrieker here. They're both Eldrazi, so it doesn't matter. This is not an Eldrazi, but we're going to need colorless mana, I guess, to play this Matter Reshaper. But I want the Shrieker more than the Tar Snare. I'm going to take the Shrieker here. Another Eiley. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. And a Remorseless Punishment. Punishment's pretty good. For an aggressive deck like this, I actually think Punishment's kind of legitimate. Multiple Eileys. That's so crazy. Someone's going to be a happy camper. I don't want to take a waste over a Punishment here. As much as I don't think Punishment's that great of a card, this style of deck usually really wants it. Same with like Visions of Brutality, to be honest. I think Visions tends to shine in a beatdown deck, which it looks like we still can possibly make here. Even though there's both a Shrieker and a Slaughter Drone, both of which, and the Unknown Shores. There's a bunch of cards I want here, but we're going to end up taking the Visions. All right, get a Sky Scourer. Going to take it over the Unknown Shores. Still kind of hoping we can find a colorless mana. If we don't, it's not like the end of the world. Translator seems good for this deck. So does, I guess, Seer's Lantern, but our curve is lower, so I'd rather have the creature that gives colorless more than the ramp that gives colorless, I think. And I'll take it over the lead by example. Ooh. Well, another Shrieker, another Slaughter Drone. They're both pretty mediocre if you don't have the Yeah, that is a problem. They're both mediocre if you don't have the colorless mana. I think I'll probably take the Slaughter Drone, though. I don't know if that's right, actually. Menace is pretty awesome. I've been really impressed with Shrieker. But Slaughter, well, Shrieker's probably better with the Stoneforge Master. I guess we'll take the Shrieker. I don't know what's better. People tell me I haven't been valuing 2-drops enough, but I think Shrieker's just a better card than Slaughter Drone for a beatdown deck, even though it is an extra mana. Just Menace is huge. All right, end up getting a Waste anyway, which is kind of awesome for us. So I feel like we didn't get any green out of that pack. No, we started with a Scion Summoner and then proceeded to get past 2 Eileys, which I would have definitely played. But even though they don't fit in thematically with the deck at all, they're still good. We're going to take the Waste here over the Tar Snare. I just need to make sure I get some colorless mana now. So this deck could definitely use like a... This deck would be awesome for Pilgrim's Eye, I think. I think I'll take the second Lead by Example. It seems pretty awesome for us, actually. It's a good combat trick for a beatdown deck. All right, take the Tar Snare now. Seems just fine for us. All right, we'll take a second Waste with Slaughter Drone, double Shrieker. Oh, wait, is that it? Oh, and Mana Reshaper. Yeah, we've got enough justification for 2 Wastes. We're not a color-intensive deck, really. We've got 1 double Black Spell, and that's it. So, I mean, we're going to want to play Mana Reshaper. How many Eldrazi do we have? I think we have a lot, right? So I could take the Unknown Shores, or I could take the second Tar Snare. Yeah, it's a reasonable question. I think we're actually gonna take the second Tar Snare. I think it's actually a bit more useful for us. All right, Elemental Uprising. As much as I think this card's overall pretty mediocre, I think a beatdown deck could actually potentially use it. You want to play it for 3. It really costs like 3 mana though. All right, whatever. So we're gonna have enough cards for a deck. We don't have enough creatures though, so we're still gonna have to. I guess Elemental Uprising doesn't. Only kind of counts as a creature. Culling Drone is an Eldrazi. There's Myers Malice. Lifespring Druid. I probably want the Culling Drone, I guess. Take a cheap creature here. Hopefully wheel the Myers Malice. Take it over Transgress, which is also good. But we're in need of creatures. We have double Lead by Example and Saddleback Lagax, so I'm looking for cards that kind of fit in thematically with what we're trying to do, which I think Culling Drone does want to do, even though it is like unexciting Grizzly Bear in our deck. Wow, Vile Aggregate's really good, but I don't think we can play it. With all of these colorless creatures we have, as well as Stoneforge Masterwork, I think it's pretty strong. We probably just want the Spawning Bed, which is going to work really well with our deck, as well as fixing for us. Actually, is Prairie Stream worth anything? If it is, I'd probably just take that, because I'm a sucker for tickets and Swiss drafts. And I feel like I can win without the Spawning Bed, probably. No, not the Expedition. The other one. Uh-oh. The screen lock up here. Well, the website froze, so I guess I'm taking the Spawning Bed. We'll find out what it's worth after the fact. It's probably worth a ticket, I imagine, but we'll find out, I guess. Prairie Stream. I'm still trying to find out the price of it. It took me that long. My screen literally froze up. It's worth like close to 2 tickets. I probably would have taken it. So now we can take Kozilek's Channeler, which is probably just a creature that our deck really wants. Take it over everything else in here. Yeah, nothing else really matters in here, so we'll take the Channeler, which, like I said, works well for us. Sludge Crawler seems real good. Cheap creature. Fits in with the creature type of our deck. Taking it. Dominator Drone definitely fits in with our deck, but Catacomb Sifter is probably just better. Not even probably, it is. It also fits in well with our deck. It doesn't beat down as well, but the ability is insane. And if you're going to play this color combination, this is like the main reason to do it. That and Swarm Surge, which we also have not seen. But Sifter's a really nice pickup for us. I'm probably going to end up cutting like a Uprising, probably. Bone Splinters is typically something you can play in here, but we probably want the Swarm Surge. It's not actually that insane in only our 13 creature deck, but I'm hoping we can wheel some creatures. I'd probably run a Swarm Surge over. Maybe I don't need 2 Tar Snares. Probably more likely we want to run 2 Unnatural Endurance just because cheaper. Colostry Healer's not what we're looking for. Blister Pod is, though. It's not terribly exciting, but it's colorless. It's an Eldrazi. Triggers everything. Potential colorless mana. Not sure yet we're going to play it, but it's the pick here. Vampiric Rites has usually been an all-star for me. I don't think this deck's going to be an exception, probably. Just because we've got token producers. It's just a really good card. It's not exactly what an aggressive deck wants to do, is it? But I still think it's probably what we take here. Some late red cards. Could take Transgress. Might want the Myers Mouse, get an extra creature. It's a 6-drop creature, though. And this deck is not... We're not going to play... I can tell you right now, we're not going to play 18 lands. We've got actually decent removal. Vision's Brutality is pretty nice in here. I mean, I think we just take the Myers Mouse. I like Transgress, but I kind of want more creatures if I want this Swarm Surge to do anything. Invoker's actually... It's okay. I mean, it's a 2-drop, which is good, but... It's not exactly what this deck wants, is it? I mean, it's a good card. Take it. Like I said, I don't think it's what we're looking for. I'll probably hate the Boiling Earth here. I don't care about Assassin or Voracious Null. Plummet's a good sideboard card. Blister Pod number 2. We're going to take and we're going to play, I think. And a Brood Hunter Worm. This is interesting. I wish it was an Eldrazi Worm. We probably are just going to try and make... Now Vampiric Rites gets a lot better. Okay, so we probably cut everything except Saddleback Lagak that's not a Eldrazi. Probably. That seems easy enough. So Invoker gets the boot. Probably cut the Myers Mouse. We're playing 17 lands, I think. You could possibly get away with 16, but I don't really want to. I still like the Unnatural Endurances, I think, more than the Tar Snare in this deck, probably. Which makes me want to cut the Tar Snare. I really like Lead by Example. I don't want to cut any... I really don't want to cut any creatures, but actually Brood Hunter Worm will get the boot. So then 2 more cuts. Pretty tempted to actually cut Remorseless Punishment. I know it's a rare and all that good stuff, but whatever. I don't care about it. I might just cut an Endurance and a Remorseless Punishment and be done with it. Visions, like I said, is actually, I think, good for us. We look like we can be fairly aggressive in here. And I think the Blister Pods are actually... They're definitely good with the Swarm Surge. I kind of like the Lead by Examples, too. Because we've got some synergies with it. I think Punishment's a good card for aggro. I just don't see what I can cut for it. I could cut... one Lead by Example and one Unnatural. Actually, I could cut both Unnatural Endurances because I think the Lead by Examples are probably better than Unnatural Endurance. And that way I can keep the Remorseless Punishment. I mean, it's a pretty reasonable finisher if you've beat down hard enough, but I kind of like Unnatural Endurance. Maybe I don't need to play that many combat tricks, though, probably. Between Masterwork, double Lead by Example. Lead by Example definitely seems better than Unnatural Endurance, I think. Most of the time. Unnatural Endurance is good, too, though. It is good. But I think if you're going to play Punishment, this is kind of the deck for it, because it just seems like you get a bunch of damage in, and then they're in just a position where they end up losing some creature's life or cards, and all of the things they lose on Remorse's Punishment is good. I don't want to cut my Channeler or my Translator either. I don't want to cut any more creatures, to be honest. I only have one non-Eldrazi creature, and it already pumps, so that's good too. All right. I guess we're cutting the Unnatural Endurances. I just think Lead by Example is probably better most of the time. And I still like Vampiric Rites in here. Get us some card advantage. It's great with the Blister Pods. It's actually fine with the Reshaper, Sifter, Summoner, and the Spawning Bed. So how many things do we need Colorless Mana for? Slaughter Drone doesn't need it, but really helps a lot. Reshaper, we need it. So we only need it for Reshaper, but it really helps with Shriekers, Slaughter Drone as well. The question is really, do I want to run both Wastes and the Spawning Bed? Clearly, I'm running the Spawning Bed. The question is, do I want to run both Wastes? I think I do. I don't think it hurts the mana base that much. We're so light. Well, definitely more black than green. Let's see. I kind of do feel like we want both Wastes. I want to be able to... You got to be able to hit those Shriekers. And even that Slaughter Drone. You really need to be able to hit them. And like casting Reshaper in a timely manner too in a beatdown deck. Even though we do have the Channeler and the... and I guess technically Colorless Mana from Sifter and Summoner too. And I guess sort of Blister Pod, but... we probably still want to run... Like, this is 9 black, 6 green. We have 1-drop green spells, though, so I kind of want 7 green. So, I mean, we really only need double black for Remorse's Punishment. Other than that, we definitely want to see both colors. We have significantly more black than green. 8 green, 7 green, 8 black. It's probably fine. If I cut a Waste, I could make it 9/7, but I think I'm gonna live with this mana base. Like, I really only need 1 black to function, and I do, like I said, want green early for Lead by Examples and Blister Pod. All right, so this deck's cool. I'm glad that it ended up to being actually, I think, pretty powerful. I think it's a fairly powerful deck. Yeah, it seems good. Swarm Surge and stuff, some good combat tricks, some good removal. Not a lot of removal. I'm not going to rate this deck super high, but synergistically, it's very nice. The Stoneforge Masterwork was ended up being a nice first pick. Thematically, synergistically, the Sky Scourers are pretty great. We have like all Eldrazi's other than the Lagax, so that's awesome synergy there. Powerhouse cards. We don't really have super bomby effects in here at all. So basically, all the high marks of this deck go to Synergy. And that's about it. And Curve. Synergy and Curve get high grades. I think our mana base is a little bit low, grade-wise. And our sort of bombs are low grade. So I can't justifiably give this thing any higher than a C. I probably give it the same grade as our last black-white deck ended up being, because unlike that deck, we actually have removal spells in here. So I'll give this deck a 77%, like that one. All right, well, at least it's a cool-looking deck, so, and fairly unique from what I've been drafting. So, all right, we'll see you round 1.